National Secretary and Team IAS Network. Today's topic for discussion relates to a unit in international relations. As I told you, international relations is part of General Studies paper 2, which carries 250 marks, and the unit on international relations fetches, as I've seen the previous papers, 60 to 70 marks every year. So today's question for discussion, India's foreign policy, General Studies paper 2. The particular topic which we are discussing can also come in General Studies paper 3 because it relates to an aspect of internal security, overlapping GS2 and GS3. Only this particular topic, maritime security. Maritime awakening is long due in India. Investing in maritime power will pay dividends in the long run. So you understand the question. Maritime awakening is long due in India. Investing in maritime power will pay dividends in the long run. So what is the scope of the answer for this question? The scope of the answer for this question is how to strengthen maritime security. That is all. So in this you will see the Indian position, then why we are discussing this topic in the background, then what suggestions you can give for improving maritime security. As I told you in the beginning itself, the topic on maritime security, General Studies paper 2, international relations relating to India's foreign policy. It can also come in internal security. Okay. First, the background. There has been a report by the US Department of Defense, which has announced that the Chinese Navy is the largest in the world. This is a report prepared by the US Department of Defense. So in this particular report, they show that China has 350 ships and submarines, 130 major service combatants. Then they speak of China's 14,500 kilometer littoral and its prime objectives of reunifying Taiwan, BRI, and the maritime Silk Route from the Chinese maritime strategy. So this is just a brief background in which we are showing the Chinese preponderance in the maritime area. So with this introduction, we go to the Indian position. What is the factual position in India? If we see the allotments made to the Ministry of Defense, narrow it down to the Navy. So this is a very low budget priority. So the amount earmarked for modernization, for maritime security has been given a very low budget priority. Then, if you see the Navy, the factual position of the Navy, how it is performing, we can say that Navy is up to the NATO standards and occupies the 6th position in the world. Another important development which I would like to share, what we suggest is the Indian policymakers and the strategists, the defense experts, should take time to read the Chinese report. To read the US Department of Defense report. They should take time to see how every year since 1995, China is publishing a white paper on defense. So what is this white paper on defense? It contains information on national security and showcasing newly inducted equipment. So every year this paper is published by the Chinese government. So all key aspects of national security. Apart from that, the Chinese are also showing what equipment they have. They are displaying it. Come to the Indian position. In India, we do not have any policy like China, like publishing a white paper on the defense related issues. It is very rare. except for an occasional briefing by the defense minister or by the service chiefs or by the chief of defense staff. Now, what is happening is there is no clear strategy developed by the Ministry of Defense. So everything is done in a very ad hoc manner, ad hoc defense planning, and arms purchases, panic arms purchases, no clear policy. So a state of drift, a state of uncertainty is continuing with regard to the Indian position, especially coming to the maritime issues. So first we spoke of the report of the United States Department of Defense, which has highlighted the strong Chinese Navy, and we also said why China is improving, why it's concentrating so much on its Navy due to the land border, due to its objectives of reunifying Taiwan, border road initiative, and the traditional Silk Route. When with this background we analyzed the Indian position. In the Indian position, the first thing we said was there is a very low budget priority. Ministry of Defense in that Navy, because our question is on maritime security, maritime awakening. There is no doubt that the Navy is up to NATO standards and occupies the 6th position in the world. We also spoke of how the policymakers and strategists, the defense experts in India, have to clearly understand the Chinese position and the steps taken by China. As I told you, since 1995, every year China is publishing a white paper on defense, comprising security issues and the newly inducted equipment. Contrasted to the Indian position, we do not have a policy of making, the policymakers do not have or have not adopted any clear strategy in this regard, like an annual white paper on the state of defense in India, because everything is ad hoc and related to the issue. The defense planning is also ad hoc. Then panic arms purchases. This is another feature which is predominant in the Indian position. With this background, we come to the main part of the answer. Investing in maritime power will pay dividends in the long run. Why should we invest in maritime power? So, suggestions, the way forward. The first suggestion which we can incorporate in the answer: provide leadership to the Quad. So the Quad is a regional organization comprising India, Japan, Australia and the USA. So India can play a dominant role in the Quad by providing leadership to the Quad. Another important feature in the Quad would be promoting collective defense architecture. See, in NATO, there is a concept of collective defense architecture wherein an attack on one is shown or treated as an attack on all. So this concept of collective defense architecture is very much required in the Quad. If we have to make the Quad a real security, real regional setup for security, especially in the background of Chinese presence, in the background of increasing Chinese investment on the maritime areas. On the economic front, a suggestion we could incorporate in the answer: to welcome the US proposal to expand the G7 group of countries to include India, Russia, Australia and South Korea. So including these countries in the G7 will strengthen the organization on the economic front. Obviously, this grouping should exclude China. Finally, another important suggestion we can incorporate in the answer: enhanced maritime security. So enhanced maritime security, we can mention the project of Sagarmala. So the Sagarmala includes modernization of ports, promoting ancillary industries. So Sagarmala will also help in our policy of the current Indian foreign policy of Look East, Act East. So this answer to be comprehensive should be laid out in the following pattern with a brief introduction which we discussed, how the inbuilt Chinese ambitions, Silk Route and other related factors are compelling China to invest more on its navy. Contraposed to the Indian position, we said low budget priority, then how we do not have a single policy, a strategy on the matters relating to defense. It is just a routine briefing by the defense minister or by the chief of. So we advocate that the policymakers should take a leaf from the Chinese example by publishing a white paper which will also showcase our equipment, newly inducted equipment. And we also said how the purchases are ad hoc in nature and no clear strategy. Way forward, we suggested 4 points. First, strengthening the Quad, incorporating the concept of collective defense architecture. By collective defense architecture, I mean the principle of which is followed in NATO. An attack on one country to view it as an attack on all. This would strengthen defense architecture. This would provide more security to the Quad, especially in the background of increasing Chinese presence. Then I also said economic front, how you can expand the scope of the G7 to include India, Russia, Australia and South Korea with the obvious exclusion of China. Finally, we conclude your answer by showing how we are gradually increasing the maritime security. We mentioned the program, the Sagarmala program, which includes port modernization, promoting ancillary industries, and ultimately this maritime security is going to be a prime component of India's foreign policy, keeping in mind India's policy of Look East, Act East. So with this discussion, we will sum up the answer to this particular question on how investing in maritime power will pay dividends in the long run. This would be the comprehensive approach to this particular question. As I told you, in international relations, the major part, the reading material would be the website of the Ministry of External Affairs, mea.nic.in. Of course, this is not updated. Or a better source of information for you would be the yearbook of the Ministry of External Affairs. It's available, you can download. So with this material what we have discussed, if you feel like adding anything, but the core points which we have discussed in the answer should remain. Thank you.